The New York Knicks are in a very complex situation right now. When you look at the current state of the New York Knicks, they just fired their head coach over 2 weeks ago and Coach Tibs. They're looking for a brand new coach, and they also may be in the market to go out there and make a major trade. Now, you see the title of the video. I don't believe they should go out there and trade for Kevin Durant or Giannis. And the reason why I say that, they just went to the Eastern Conference Finals in their first year with having Karl-Anthony Towns on this roster, and the same with Mikal Bridges. Their starting lineup is one of the best starting lineups in the NBA. You could possibly win a championship with this starting lineup. You just need more bench players. And my fear is this with the New York Knicks and how this governor has done things before with this organization. And I'm talking about James Dolan here. He's made a lot of drastic decisions in the past. Hell, looking at what they just did with Coach Tibs, you may say that's a knee-jerk reaction to what happened against the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. But I look at it from this standpoint. Kevin Durant is still an awesome player, but he's 37 years old. I don't think that Kevin Durant walks into the door and he makes you a better team right now. He's a phenomenal player. The same with him and Giannis, but it's what you have to give up to get one of those players on this roster. And Giannis has not formally asked for a trade just yet from the Milwaukee Bucks, but he is exercising his options outside of Milwaukee. When you look at Kevin Durant, we all know that the Phoenix Suns, they're going to trade him. They don't have a choice but to. But you traded 5 first-round picks. 4 of those picks were unprotected to the Brooklyn Nets to bring in Mikal Bridges. You traded Dante DiVincenzo, who's a very good bench player, and Julius Randle to bring in Cat. Stay with the roster that you have. Continuity is going to help you long term. You need to fill out that bench role. If you go out there and you make a move to bring in Giannis or Kevin Durant, you're going to trade more first-round picks, and you may have to trade someone like Mikal Bridges or Cat. And I like having both these players on this roster. Now, when I look at it from this standpoint here, with New York, you fire Coach Tibs. I agree with this move. I said it over 2 weeks ago. He did win 56% of his games. He was a phenomenal regular season coach. In the postseason, not so much. 24-23. And he will always run his players into the ground year in and year out. And they've dealt with injuries in the past because of this. Now, I don't want to come on here and make it seem like you want to sit Jalen Brunson down for a long amount of time. Even if you do have good bench players, you at least want to give him 3 to 4 minutes of rest. That's the dream scenario. We saw this with the Indiana Pacers when they went against the New York Knicks. They'll give Halliburton a rest. The same with Pascal Siakam. You look at the OKC Thunder. They could put Shea on the bench for a couple minutes. Their offense doesn't take a major dip. If you put Jalen Brunson on the bench for at least 2 minutes, you're going to be in trouble. And this is why I was looking at Coach Tibs sideways when he put Jalen Brunson back into the game in Game 1 against the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. The bench, they're doing their job. They went on a huge run without Jalen Brunson. He puts them back into the game. When your bench is giving you good production and when your offense hasn't taken a step back without your star player, check him into the game when you feel like things are not heading to the right direction. But in the middle of that run, you put in Jalen Brunson, it turned everything around for the New York Knicks. So even though I like Coach Tibs as a head coach, he has a lot of flaws. The offensive sets didn't really run any. It was either Jalen Brunson save us with isolation basketball plays, the same with him, and the same with Karl-Anthony Towns. He rarely ran plays. When I look at the head coaches that the New York Knicks have tried to talk to, like Jason Kidd, they were denied. He will go out there, he'll run different action with Kyrie Irving. The same with Luka. Hell, even PJ Washington at times, he'll scheme up plays where he's wide open in the corner, or they'll give him looks to the elbow. Those are the type of looks that you're looking for. Now, they're not going to bring in Jason Kidd. They're not going to go out there. They're not going to bring in Ime Udoka, Quinn Snyder, or even Chris Finch, who is the head coach with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And for the ones that are confused about this, all the New York Knicks are doing, they're just going out there and doing their due diligence in terms of just searching for a head coach. They're the only team right now that doesn't have a head coach. So there's no reason to go out there and rush. They're just calling around the league and seeing if a coach is unhappy with their current situation, if they could possibly trade for him. We've seen coaches go out there and get traded before in the past. It's very rare, but it does happen. I think the best options with the New York Knicks would be someone like Coach Malone, who's the former head coach with the Denver Nuggets, but he is very similar to Coach Tibs. He will run his starters into the ground. He may play 6 or 7 guys. That's it. He's not going to go deep into his bench. When you look at what he did with the Denver Nuggets, he ran the 2-man game with Jamal Murray, with Nikola Jokic. You can run the two-man game with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. They didn't do much of that in the regular season. They didn't do much of that in the postseason either. So if you're looking for a coach that can go out there and help that pick and roll situation with both of these players, and I think that Mike Malone would be a very good head coach with this organization. But he does have a lot of problems with James Dolan due to things in the past. So I don't think they'll hire him. You look at Taylor Jenkins, who's a solid head coach with the Memphis Grizzlies. He will go deep into his bench. We've seen him do this before with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and the same with Desmond Bane. He'll sit those players down for a couple minutes. He'll let the bench take over. And it was more continuity with that offense. And he'll run different pick and roll schemes at the half court, dribble handoffs. That's what you're looking for. But I don't think that he's the right coach to bring in long term and help you out in the NBA playoffs. We've seen him before in the playoffs. He wasn't that successful. The coach that I'm looking at, and the perfect hire, in my opinion, would be Mike Brown, who was Coach of the Year in 2009 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. 2023 Sacramento Kings Coach of the Year. He runs different actions over and over again. This is the one coach that I think that could come in. He'll help out Jalen Brunson. He'll help out Josh Hart, and the same with Karl Anthony Towns. He's a more offensive-minded head coach, so your defense may take a step back. But I also want to talk about this as well with Coach Tibs. Even though I said a lot of good things about him in this postseason, he got this team to the Eastern Conference Finals. The defense took a major step back this year. I understand that they brought in Cat. Jalen Brunson is not a good defender because of lack of size, but you have two elite wings in that department, Mikal Bridges and the same with OG. When I look at Mike Brown, he did a lot of good defensive things with the Sacramento Kings. It was a lot of reports that he rubbed De'Aaron Fox the wrong way. Look at the Kings right now. They no longer have Mike Brown. They no longer have De'Aaron Fox. The Sacramento Kings, they're not a good organization because of ownership. I look at the New York Knicks. You can say what you want to say about this team, their ownership. At least they have a better roster right now than the Sacramento Kings. And Mike Brown can get them over the hump in terms of their offensive play. They just need those wings to play better on the defensive end. And when you look at the Knicks last year, this season, in the regular season, they had a lot of struggles against teams like the Boston Celtics, the OKC Thunder, the Cleveland Cavaliers. And many teams, they did because they were elite teams in the regular season. But at the same time, the New York Knicks, you made a lot of trades. You've made a lot of movement to go out there and be a championship contender. When you bring in Mike Brown, those different actions that you can run, giving Mikal Bridges the basketball more, letting him create his own offense. The same with OG, just pinpointing plays out there and just using your bench more. That would definitely help out the New York Knicks because James Dolan felt like the New York Knicks were a significantly better team than the Indiana Pacers. And you lost them in back-to-back years in the playoffs. Now, last year, you're dealing with a lot of injuries. This year, not so much. But even if you do bring in Mike Brown, who I would love to see be the head coach with this team, you have to get better bench players. The starting lineup with the New York Knicks is Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG, Karl Anthony Towns. I like to see Josh Hart come off the bench. That's what Coach Tibs did. He switched the lineup. He had Mitchell Robinson playing alongside Cat. That's the right lineup, in my opinion. If you want to hang on to Josh Hart for a couple more years, sure. You can say that he's the engine to this team. He plays very good defense. He's an excellent rebounder. The jump shot, it is what it is with Josh Hart. And you're not going to run offensive plays through him. But he is a motor with the team. He's more so of a bench player, in my opinion. And I look at Mitchell Robinson. He's dealt with a lot of injuries in the past, but he's one of the better defensive bigs that you can have in terms of just going out there and being a rim protector. But they need more pieces besides the starting five and just having Josh Hart. You do have Deuce McBride, who's a very good player coming off the bench. You have Dolan Wright. He gave you some solid moments in the NBA playoffs, especially against the Indiana Pacers. You just need to bring in another guard that can work off of Jalen Brunson to where you don't have to have Jalen Brunson go out there and have 25 to 30 shot attempts in a game. He needs help in that department in the backcourt because when you look at what the Pacers did, they'll pick him up full court press the entire time. No one else can bring the ball up the court. And you're not going to expect for Cat to do that. He's a big man. We've seen him bring the ball up the court before, but that's not in his game every single night. You don't want Cat to go out there and run your offense every single game. So you need to bring in another guard. He doesn't have to go out there and be on the same level as Jalen Brunson. But if he can handle the basketball, play very good defense, he can switch over. He could be a 3-and-D player. That's the right pickup for the New York Knicks. So I look at this current roster that they have. Stick with it. Bring in a coach like Mike Brown. If you don't want to bring in Mike Brown, you can bring in Johnny Bryant, who was on this coaching staff from 2020 to 2024. So he already has a relationship with Josh Hart. The same with Jalen Brunson. He doesn't really have a relationship with Karl Anthony Towns, and the same with Mikal Bridges, because this was their first season together on this roster. But he's coached some of these players before in the past, and the same with Mitchell Robinson. And he got a lot of good reports behind the scenes. So I do believe you bring him in to be a head coach, he'll help you out. When you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder and that head coach, a lot of people around the NBA, they compare him to his coaching style. So I look at Johnny Bryant. Don't sleep on him. He could be a very good head coach for this team as well. But they're going to interview Taylor Jenkins and the same with Mike Brown within the couple of days. But one more time, in my opinion, they should go with Mike Brown being the head coach and see what you have. But please do not go out there and try to trade for Kevin Durant, and the same with Giannis. And I know that's crazy to hear because Giannis is an amazing player. You can make the case that he's a top 3 player in the NBA. You can make the case that he's the best player in all of basketball when he's fully healthy. But you're just going to have to give up so much to get him. And I look at Mikal Bridges. He's not a bad basketball player, but giving up those 5 first-round picks, that's insane. And when you look at Mikal Bridges, he's only had one season in his career to where he was able to go out there and average over 20 points a game. And that came to 2022-2023 season. He averaged 26 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 3 assists. I think that he's one of those players, he's going to average at least 20 points a game. I think that's where he's going to sit with the New York Knicks. You have to look at it from the standpoint here. With the Brooklyn Nets, he was a #1 option that season. He was their offense and he was their defense as well. He's one of the best defensive players that you can have on that side of the court. He's an amazing wing in that department, but he is inconsistent on the offensive end. And the reason why I say that the most that he may ever average with the New York Knicks is 20 points. You have one of the best offensive bigs in Karl Anthony Towns. He needs his looks. Jalen Brunson, he needs his looks as well. Then you have OG. He can average 15 to 18 points. He's a very good defender. But you brought in these 2 wings to annoy players like Jaylen Brown, and the same with Jason Tatum. So I look at it from this standpoint with New York. Even though you did not go to the NBA Finals, you went to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. Don't blow this roster up. Bring in some bench players and bring in a coach that's willing to go out there and develop young players and help out this offense with different sets and different looks. And if you guys disagree, let me know in the comment section below if they should go out there and trade for a player like Kevin Durant or Giannis. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.